What's going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? I'm your host KO. I'm back again with another video, and today we're going to be discussing do men hold other men accountable for their bad behaviors and mistreatment of women in the dating market? Um, this was something brought to me by a friend of mine. I told you guys I'm on Clubhouse, and even on YouTube, we talk about various things, mostly about the behaviors of women, because this page was made by a man for men that may not have this kind of information or may have similar experiences to myself. So I thought that it was interesting to talk about these men that quote unquote need to be held accountable. Um, let's talk about holding men accountable, right? Um, we do know that these dudes that are quote unquote baby mamas, I mean baby fathers and things like that, this is less than 20% of dudes in the black community. And if you have a kid with somebody and for whatever reason you decide not to be there, or if she doesn't want you there, the family courts will hold you accountable. If you abuse a woman, if you just mistreat a woman physically, or do anything harmful to a woman in a physical sense, the law will hold you accountable. You will be charged with domestic violence and things like that, and you will go to prison. Um, Obviously, if you like finesse a woman out of a substantial amount of money and things like that, you'll still be held accountable by the law, something like that. Because we have seen cases where there was a guy, like a serial dater, that was just taking women out on dates and shit, and he wasn't paying, and he was dipping before the bill came, and that dude ended up doing like some prison time behind it, or he got probation or some kind of charge behind that. So even in that sense, dudes can't really be finessing women out of money and meals like how they can finesse us. So yeah, those dudes have been held accountable. Um, Now, if we talk about dudes that are just knocking women down left and right, because it was brought to my attention that apparently average guys, um, and the average guy would be a guy that makes about 40,000, 40 anywhere from 40 to 50,000. He's not 6 feet. The average height of a man in this country is 5'8", 5'9". So average guys do not play sports. They're not like they don't have like a super athletic physique. They're just regular build, not dad bods per se, but they're just regular built guys. And she's of the belief that these dudes are just knocking women down and playing women down. They didn't contribute to the single father rate, or I mean the single mother rate, by getting these women pregnant and not marrying them. These dudes, they're not crushing it financially like that. They're just average earners. They're not abnormally tall guys, so they don't fit that football player, basketball player archetype. She's of the belief that these dudes are just knocking women down, and I disagree with that. The average guy does not really have access to women like that. We know today, like upwards of 30% of dudes are going sexless. Period. But and even still, these guys that do have, and also let's not forget that the average guy, women find like 80% of dudes unattractive. There are not a lot of just normally attractive men out there. So we're just gonna look past that. Also, it's usually your money and the way you carry yourself which makes you more attractive to women on average. Because I'm an ugly ass dude, and I mean, women for some reason like me, and I don't think it's because like I'm definitely not rich and I'm definitely not 6 feet. So yeah, in my opinion, these dudes are a small minority of dudes. How is it going to benefit me to go to a dude that potentially has more sexual access than me and say, hey, man, you should stop doing that? That doesn't benefit me at all. More than likely, that's going to start a fight because I'm in his business. But if these men are a small minority of men, shouldn't we ask why these women are basically chasing the same kinds of dudes? Like, what about this dude makes women just flock to them like that? And if women are constantly dating these dudes and they're having all these bad experiences, why wouldn't they switch their discern, like why wouldn't they work on their discernment and switch their dating, the way they date and choose men up? Like, usually when I ask this question, I never really get an answer, but I'm curious because I'm just not of the belief that these just run of the mill, average, everyday guys are just mistreating women like that. I would argue that it's either the abnormally attractive niggas that just so happen to be of poor character and are thugs, criminals, and rapists, or it's the top guys that's crushing it in the bank that just so happen to be 6 feet, or even if they're not 6 feet, um, they have the resources, and women want resources, and they just knocking women down like that. But even still, that's less than 15% of men, all men, as a whole. So in many ways, the world holds men accountable. But even these small few dudes that are just knocking women down, and they could potentially not be either the top 15% of dudes that's crushing it in the bank, and they athletes and shit like that, or the bottom. If they are average dudes, I would argue that these dudes are not common like that. So it's no point in just you know looking at a very minute problem, because at the end of the day, women are still choosing these dudes, no matter what we say. So, well, if you watch this far, this your boy Kel Minerva, man. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share the video, whatever you want to do. Leave a comment. Let's discuss it. And I'm out here, man. I got to get some sleep. I got to go to work tonight. So I'm holler at y'all. Peace.